Welcome to the prediction. Here's your host, Sauce Age.
Welcome back to the prediction, the game show where we predict. Today's contestants is Kaspi. So Kaspi, how do you think you'll do?
I think I'll do pretty good considering the only skill I have is predicting games for different years.
Can you give us an example?
I could do 2015.
But that year has already happened.
I know nothing from that year. I'm year blind, but only for 2015.
Then give it a shot.
I think Snickers is going to make a game. I think Breath of the Wild is finally going to come out. I mean, that's what Nintendo said was going to happen. I think Nintendo's going to release a third-person shooter where it plays half kid, half squid people that can swim in their ink and shoot it around and all that sort of stuff. And I think they're going to make a sequel to Elf Bowling.
2015 later.
Well, at least you got one thing right. I always carried this Splatoon game.
Yo everybody, my name is Kaspi and I'm a kid now. I am a squid now, and more importantly, I'm in constant pain. Why has God turned me into such a horrible creature who can transform at any point, and my bones crackle every time? Splatoon released in 2015 and was the first new IP from Nintendo since like, I don't know, the Wii series? Everybody was ecstatic for this game, including myself. And by that I of course mean right now, as I just predicted it. You know, duh. So, considering Splatoon 3 was announced, I guess I'll take a look into Splatoon. And at some point, Splatoon 2. Splatoon started development in 2013. It first looked like this. I think it looks great. The problem was they were kind of stuck with what characters you could play as. At first they thought they could do a Mario game, but they scrapped it pretty early. Then the idea of playing as bunnies came along. This was scrapped due to rabbits not making sense with the whole paint thing. One day, Keisuke Nishimori, I'm sorry if I butchered her name, came up with the idea of half squid, half kid creatures that could swim through the paint. And thus, Splatoon came out. Can I just quickly say something though? It does make absolutely zero sense that they call it ink when it's clearly paint. You don't use ink rollers or ink buckets, you use paint. It's paint. And ink puns are stupid, and you're stupid, and my uncle works at Nintendo, so shut up. We start the game by creating a character. It's very simple, just choose the gender and eye color. We then jump into a tutorial teaching us the basics. How to run, jump, do terrorism, swim, do more terrorism, you know, all of the basics. As we swim on into the main area, Inkopolis, we see a news broadcast hosted by the Squid Sisters. Kelly and Marie, oh I see what you did there, clever boys over at Nintendo. Now usually they will talk about what maps are playable in the multiplayer, but I'm going to ignore the multiplayer for this video. I want to focus on the single player mode for this video and the potential, or should I say inevitable, Splatoon 2 video. We also get told about the Great Sapfish, a chunky fish that gives Inkopolis power or something. The Great Sapfish has disappeared! Poof! Magic! It's gone! And we get shown around the Inkopolis triangle, I mean square. We get told about the shops, the lobby for the multiplayer, the local multiplayer, and some old guy in a sewer. Well I want to see what's down there!
Hiya, Georgie.
This is the single player. Here's where you meet Captain Cuddlefish, an old lad who wants to recruit you and name you Agent 3. He said that the Great Sapfish was stolen by the Octolings as revenge from a war 100 years ago. Jesus, how long do Inklings live? Are they all super old? Or is Captain Cuddlefish some immortal being?
Our mere mortal lives, nothing compared to his thousands, no, millions of years in pain and misery, no family.
Nah, I just think he's kinda old. You then proceed to get some new clothes that fit quite snugly, and you are off! The hub world is designed in a way where you must find someone invisible tea kettles laid across each island. And then you gotta paint them, and then you got yourself a level. In these levels, the objective is to get to the end and find the Zapfish. Once you get a certain amount per world, you can proceed to the boss. And once you blow up the boss, you get to proceed to the next island. On Island 1, it isn't too hard to find all the levels, just look around for a bit and you'll probably find them. On later islands though, I found myself completely missing these kettles. Now it might just be that I'm kettle blind. Yes, I am year blind for only 2015 and kettle blind. But the fact that I walk right past some of these has to say something. The levels are like little obstacle courses. Get to the Zapfish by shooting boxes, killing enemies, and simply getting there. For the most part, you don't need to kill anything unless it's a kill all enemies area. It's kind of weird how Nintendo used so much effort to making the world of Splatoon feel lived in, yet the single player is in some space area or something with no sign of anybody else. The controls surprisingly feel great despite being on this chunky thing. You shoot with ZR, become a squid with ZL, jump with X, and do other things I guess. I do find it weird with my Mario obsessed self that we jump with X, I did get used to it, so it isn't a big deal, but something I should note, I guess. The Octolings are actually very well designed. They have all kinds of different variations. Basic shooty enemies, flying boys, snipers, bombers, roly-poly, and a lot more. I also think it's genius how Nintendo made the good guys squids and the bad guys octopi. It's a cute little difference that I think is a good way of distinguishing them. For those of you who played lots of Splatoon before Splatoon 2 came out, what do you think of first? Maybe the lots of multiplayer fun, possibly the single player, perhaps the amount of customization with clothing. But the thing for me is the music. The music is fantastic, as you can quite clearly hear. It's probably in my top 5 favorite soundtracks. The quote-unquote vocal tracks, consisting of the made-up squid language, is a great touch, and the fact that we have 2 pop stars in this world to give us some of the music is also a very nice touch. There is one great track I want to get into, but first, the bosses in this game are very typical Nintendo bosses. You know, find a way to damage it, do it 3 times, poof, magic. This isn't that big of a deal, as the bosses are quite well designed, unique, and really fun to fight. The first one is this lovely chap called Octostamp. Love him. Wait for him to try to crush you with the weight of your mama, and then try to climb him and shoot his tentacle. Ew, that doesn't actually sound that good. It of course gets harder with each phase. There's also a Shell Boy, Croco Boy, and a weird Sink Boy. All of them are fun to fight and figure out how to kill, especially the Croco Boy. You have to let him eat you and then escape and destroy all of his teeth, and then once you've done so, you chuck a bomb into his maw and once again shoot his tentacle. Some levels are a bit special. You have these stages with Octolings that are basically just Inklings. You just have to get to the other side of a regular PvP map and get a Zapfish. You can actually just ignore them, which I find kind of weird. That's in fact what I did almost every time. In that respect, there's also a huge bomb guy sitting atop a UFO thing. Once again, just get to the end of a regular PvP stage. This time you actually have to kill him. It is kind of fun, but nothing special. It's just like killing an enemy. It's a tad disappointing that the only weapon available in the single player mode is the basic hero shot. I wish you could get the roller, sniper, and so on. It's not a huge deal, but you can buy splash bombs. You don't need to use the basic one. I just wish you could do the same for regular weapons too. Speaking of buying stuff, you heard that right. This game is capitalism. You can get these orbs. I don't know what they actually are. Are they fish eggs? Are they fish? Do Inklings steal the children of innocent mothers and fathers for their own gain? For money? Huh. Use the eggs to purchase upgrades. You can upgrade your weapon, your defense, booming devices, and more. It is kind of neat, but I ended up forgetting about it. Like, I never really did it. I did it once in the game, and I kind of forgot about it again. Now for that sweet, sweet foreshadowing I said earlier. Now this does include spoiler stuff, not that I think most people would care, but click this time if you want to skip that stuff. So in between each island there are these intermissions with Captain Cuttlefish. Later on, something starts interrupting these. In between Island 4 and 5, he gets full-on kidnapped. You can only imagine what horrors await him.
Oh god! No! That's the virginity!
The people who then start talking to you is Agent 1 and 2. Huh, I wonder who they are. Beat the final few levels and get to the final boss, the leader of the Octolings, DJ Octavio. He's the power of the great Zapfish to fly or something. The fight is actually really good. He flies around and shoots missiles at you, uses the shockwave attack thing, and literally throws hands. After you say stop hitting yourself enough times, he will shoot a big boy missile. You play a brief game of ping pong with him and go on to the next phase. Unlike the other bosses, this guy has 5 phases, because, you know, final boss and all that. After the 4th phase, we get a message from Agents 1 and 2. Agent 3, can you hear our song? Calamari Inkantation plays. Easily the best song in the game. You jam out to this fantastic song and fight DJ Octavio. You hit that last bomb straight into his ugly mug. The great Zapfish is back to the right place. And the Squid Sisters, who obviously know nothing because they weren't part of it, I mean, how would they know, play one more song over the credits. In typical Nintendo fashion, you get to shoot through the credits. This game was only about 2 hours, which isn't great, but when you take into consideration that this is only a side mode and the multiplayer is the main focus, it's actually a really great length. Sadly, this was one of the last games Satoru Iwata saw to completion before his death, not even a month later. May he rest in peace, forever being remembered in the history of Nintendo. Well, that was kinda neat, but I just found out one of my other predictions was true! The controls are a bit weird, but story and jumping feels fine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Huge thanks to Leondid, who is my friend. also known as the Long Boy, who helped me film the video as well as plays Sauce Age. And yeah, it was a very fun time making this video, even though it's a bit late. Also, soon there's going to be a blooper video. Maybe not the second this comes up. It'll be on my second channel. But maybe not the second this comes up because I'm lazy. But yeah, new videos in production will come out early to mid-July. We'll see. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and goodbye.